All right. Very good evening, everybody. Back in US, and it's very early morning here in South Korea. I'm Irfan Rashed. Let me first start by congratulating my friends there in FreeFlyer. What an amazing two-day session it has been. Really enjoyed both the sessions. And this is the way we add value to the entire satellite community, and extremely glad to be a partner of FreeFlyer since 2018. To give a short introduction about myself, I'm Irfan Rashed. I basically come from India, but I've been living in South Korea since 2011. I did my engineering bachelor's in aerospace structures back in India, and then I came here for my master's in satellite development, small satellite development, and then have been doing systems development and engineering for the same. It has been a great journey in this land of Korea. Amazing people, greatly talented engineers and professionals here. Had got opportunity to learn various things on engineering and systems part of it. I usually say to my colleagues or foreign friends whenever they ask me about Korean space, I would say, you have known about K-pop, you heard about K-food, you have heard about K-cars as well, but now it's time for K-space, because what Soletop, being part of the space industry globally and domestically here in Korea, is we are transforming an entire generation of space and its satellites. We are part of that great changeover. FreeFlyer is not just a software for us. It's an entirely a new generation of systems and software implementation. We have taken the charge to completely replace SDK with FreeFlyer. So we are making our effort, and Soletop has taken this charge to fully implement FreeFlyer in Korea. And let me tell you with a lot of pride that we have been very much successful so far, and it's just a beginning. So the topic of my presentation is potential and current user cases with South Korea. So the contents, what I want to share with you all is the introduction to Soletop, basically, because not many people would know Soletop, as this is the first time we are participating live. We were backstage in the previous FreeFlyer Expo, but now we have come up front and wanted to participate and show what we are doing and how we are changing the dynamics here in Korea with respect to software, astrodynamics software like FreeFlyer. So current and potential FreeFlyer customers in Korea, how we are doing with our customers. I would not take the name specifically of our customers, but give you an idea on the projects they are working on and how we are transforming their visions and missions towards a better launch and a successful lifetime mission of the satellites using FreeFlyer. So this is a transition which most of the people would not take charge of, to transform SDK-based mindset, because people have been using SDK in Korea for years. If I am not wrong, probably 10 or 20 years in Korea for satellite development. But now the transition has started, and Soletop has taken amazing leap, I would say, to replace SDK with FreeFlyer in Korea. Then we will go for current and potential FreeFlyer use cases in Soletop and other companies we are working with in Korea, and a lot of future work. This is just a beginning, as I mentioned. We have a lot of work to do in this. I would start by introducing Soletop. Why it is called Soletop, a lot of people keep questioning. This is a very simple answer. we want to be a global top company, and we are leading in major fields of space, ocean, land, and earth. So we have been a part of all these four sectors very strongly since 26 years now. So Soletop has turned 26 just a month ago, and we take the pride in being in this industry and witnessing several milestones during these years. This is our office, located in Daejeon City, established in 1995, mainly focusing on the space business of small satellites and then ground segments, and along with that, going for various different drone businesses, which is another confidential government-related entity what we work with. But overall, the mission planning and ground control based software and systems are being developed in Soletop. We have about 99 people right now, including 5 PhDs and 22 masters. Our headquarters is in Daejeon in Korea, and the subsidiaries are in Los Angeles, US. So quite globalized in recent times. So the logos, what you're seeing about are the recent certifications what Soletop has achieved recently, and we are pretty much glad that we have been improving and have got a clean room of ISO 9001 recently for developing small satellites. And I'll take you through what we are doing specifically with small satellites in recent times. So this is a brief journey, I would say, of Soletop since to 1995. I would say that the birth of Korean space was in 1992, and since then, our founder and CEO, Mr. Yongbul Sakong, has been a part of this journey, and he founded this company at a very young age of 23, and he has been working constantly on all the major satellites of Korea, including the very own Arirang satellites through GK2A recently, which is a weather satellite, which was launched in December 2018. And since then, it has been no stopping. There are multiple satellites planned in next few years. As you can see, the platform development for satellites, as well as the lunar mission, which is up for next 5-6 years to be launched, and then everything is in line, and then people are very much excited in Korea that this is a revolution coming up in Korean satellite industry, that satellites of GK2A range have been developed and launched, and the excitement has been amazing so far. So going towards the future, Soletop will contribute in most of the programs, and we are very positive of how we will progress in coming time. And this has not only been a very domestic projects or involvement, but we have been very active across the globe for various missions and contribution towards ground stations mainly, but also the satellite development as well. So talking about what we are doing currently, specifically on the large satellite part of it, we are doing a lot of different projects. Please pardon me if I'm not sharing much of the information, because much of the data is confidential and related to government. So in that scenario, I would stick to basic information and the way we are progressing in Korea. So 425 military satellite is a very important satellite for Korea. It's very confidential, but in future, it's going to be a major satellite launch from Korea. It will involve flight software, test bed, ground support equipment, mission control system will be provided by Soletop, and we have experts of great experience and talent since almost 20-25 years in this field of work, and we take the pride in having such amazing talent. And given the fact that even me, being an engineer and a project manager in Soletop, I have always witnessed amazing talent here, and got to know some of the very important concepts of flight dynamics overall. And that founded a basic interest and foundation for the FreeFlyer being integrated into our systems and local customers here in Korea. So COMSAT 677A are the next series of the weather satellites in Korea. The COMSAT is the prominent part of Korean satellite or space program, and Soletop will be involved in ground support equipment as well as mission control for SOS, mission control and processing, FDS and SIM. We will do the integrated tests and operation systems as well. So CAS 501 is another confidential satellite in Korea. I can give you some inputs on how Soletop is going to be part of it. It's a very major project where Soletop will contribute on the satellite operation system, integrated test and operation system of it. So we are talking about the satellite development part, and slowly I would get into how the FreeFlyer is contributing to the entire, not only Soletop, but also the entire country, and how we are changing the dynamics over in this peninsula. So KoreaSat 5A is coming, and 7 as well, and then Soletop will have a similar role in those satellites as well. We will have the operating system, and mostly TT&C would be developed for those satellites. Now let's talk about the small satellites. We have seen what larger satellites, what the Soletop is involved in. Now small satellites. We are very much actively involved in majority of the small satellite revolution, I would say, in Korea, and we are trying our best to make sure that we involve in most of the programs and establish our brand as a major global one-stop solution for our customers. So the first satellite I would discuss is the STEP. This is very specific to one of the government organizations, and Soletop will lead the mission and system design. And Soletop has also won one of the projects for SNIPE with KASI, which is Korea Astronautical Sciences Institute, and we will develop the mission control system and CubeSat component supplier as well. So this is based on the Iridium-based payload and GPS module, which Soletop is working and trying to develop. StepCube Lab 2, this is another project coming up from Soletop with local collaboration here in Korea. We would do the mission system design and system integration as well. Going ahead, we have KMSL. This is one of the government organizations we are working with, and we will have a CubeSat component supplier, onboard computer. We will supply them for mission slated to be launched in some years. So Jinju Sat 1 is also coming up. We will be the technical consultant for them, and will be part of their mission as a support system. Can you all see Miman? This has been in talks since a while, and we have been a component supplier for those missions. This is a small one of the recent launches in Korea, which are very much successful and have demonstrated lot of technology and as well as a statement that small satellites are a very important part of our space program here in Korea. Having been part of the small satellite industry in Korea since almost 10 years, I can promisingly say that we have a future which will bring another name to Korea for as a K-space, as I mentioned, because this industry is growing very rapidly, and FreeFlyer will be the most important part for the mission design and analysis of it. You may ask how, but I'll show you the slides, and you may actually live the moment that we are actually transforming an entire generation of satellites and the programs using FreeFlyer. So this is one of the most important transitions Korea space program is going into, and I'll take you through it. So what Soletop does overall, what is our business and how we progressed over this 26 years of span of our business into the industry. So we have been part of various different business areas, but most importantly, ground systems have been our core business since a very long time. Satellite imagery as well as the applications. So Soletop is not only developing satellites for the sake of imagery, but we are solving the real-time problems of any government agency or private partner. So we have been part of several real-time applications like disaster management, meteorological monitoring, environment monitoring, oil outflow kind of disaster management. So what our customers basically need usually is that we bring the data, the satellite imagery data or the analysis data on table as quickly as possible. It's not about we just provide them data for the reference so that a colorful image comes on screen and they get happy about it. No, the times are changing now. The customers, the people want the disaster management in the quickest manner as possible. I would give you an example. Recently, there has been a requirement of forest fire in one of the Asian countries, and they requested us the data to be satellite data to be having a pause at least 5 times a day. So finding a satellite with 5 to 10 passes in the Asian region is challenge in itself. So small satellites can do that. So one of the major reasons why Soletop is deeply involved in small satellites is the problem of number of passes in Asian region can be solved only through small satellites, having a constellation of small satellites and formation flying. So that is why the whole space industry is in transition in Korea, and we are very proud about it. So these kind of major applications were there, and Soletop was very active in providing the data to the customer and solving the real-time forest fire problems as well. So those kind of applications will be very important in future using small satellites as well, and not only in LEO orbits but in the deep space as well. When Korea would aim for landing on lunar surface, we would have a lot of optimization needs for the orbit and several other applications for using FreeFlyer that we are already discussing and into the process. So the reason I'm discussing further on this slide is because we are here for solving the real-time problems. We do not want to just traditionalize the imagery part of it. It's good to have very good images, but images with purpose and a goal with the satellite and its images. So with that in mind, our CEO and our teams here have been working seamlessly since about 25 years, having ground stations locally and globally everywhere. And then we have a full operational responsibility of GK2A satellites, 2A and 2B. Soletop is leading the operations globally for industry part of it, of GK2A recently, which is a weather satellite in Korea. And we are also very much involved in LEO and SAR satellite development in near future. First one, which is coming out of the small satellites, is SolSat-1, which is due to be launched in 2023. And we are very proud of the first satellite to be launched from Soletop solely. So that would be our first one to go. But we have been involved in all the major Korean satellites as a developer or systems integrator. So talking about the small satellite technology development, because FreeFlyer will be majorly part of the small satellite program in Korea, and then we have seen the results coming from that side of the business very much. And we are going for large-scale deployable antenna, FEEP thruster and module, and software software part of it as well. So what we are trying to do at this point is we would like to have several opportunities growing for small satellites on various grounds. First one being the Space Challenge 2020 program, which is very important for us, and then our engineers have been developing several systems for deployable antenna, from deployable antennas to metal mesh material. These kind of systems are very much important for us, because in future we will have several systems which will be a part of our commercial business as well. And then and in future we would like to support various international and local customers with our systems. Then thruster module is part of the 2021 Space Challenge program, and we would like to develop a low thrust electrostatic space propulsion applicable to CubeSats, because now what we are seeing globally is there's a lot of funding is being poured into development of propulsion systems which are more integratable to the small satellites. So now we have the standard forms of thrusters, but in future definitely we can have customizable part of thrusters. There are many in business already, but in future we'll have diverse variation in thruster and propulsion development. So electrospray type thruster of liquid metal, these kind of applications are coming up, and Soletop will be very deeply involved in each of them. Coming to the software side of it, we'll be part of the SDR based GBPS rate, because now it's kbps or mbps. Now it's time we move to GBPS rate transmission, and then have SDR based IoT Internet of Things payload, which we are very much interested in, K-band transmitter, and we have developed SDR very specific to this purpose. This SolLink SDR is one of the internally developed board what we have. Now, moving back in time, how our friendship started with AI Solution and how the partnership has bloomed over time is the fact that in 2018 we came, and Mothas is also part of this session, and we had a lot of communication. And at that time, the Korean small satellite industry was just starting to get into the real new space era. And we had this value-added reseller agreement after many discussions and meetings, how we could not only support the Korean peninsula, but also the Asian market of it. So we had this open value-added reseller agreement and a partner for FreeFlyer team in AI solution. There was no looking back after 2018. The moment it started, there had been several milestones, and we had more than 2,000 queries in less than 2 years, and have been part of many international and local conferences. Within 2 years, the momentum was gained, and the result is being delivered now. We have, as I mentioned, it's not about only having a software, it's about a complete transition. Korea is in a stage of transitioning itself from SDK to FreeFlyer, and I cannot explain the value it has added to the Korean space experts and beginners and professionals and students. Definitely, students have been not so excited before FreeFlyer. They have been thrilled, and now there have been lectures on FreeFlyer across Korea in various universities, and the excitement level is so high that many are using in their thesis writing or developing their own projects, the CubeSat projects, and there is no limit. That they are exploring the options from optimization to having a on-ground vehicle analysis, lunar deep space analysis, and mission designing. The excitement is humongous here. So that is how we started, and the journey is continuing, and we have a lot of work to do at this point. With many government agencies have decided to implement FreeFlyer, including our research institutes and space-oriented agencies. All of them have come forward to do the best for the transition from SDK to the FreeFlyer. And it has not been easy for Soletop as well, I would say, because first of all, the SDK was embedded in the minds so deeply that first of all, we had to compare both ends, what this SDK would offer and what FreeFlyer is offering. So making a contrast, our team has made a lot of efforts for studying the entire software of FreeFlyer, and then implementing it internally inside Soletop, making a lot of demonstrations, making a lot of notes in Korean language, and making live demonstrations to the customers, and how a lot of Q&As happened. And then slowly we entered into one of the agreements with a space agency, and FreeFlyer was implemented there successfully, replacing the SDK. So that's how strong our binding is with the FreeFlyer team at the US. I thank Marcus. I am very grateful to have been working with Michael, and the entire team of FreeFlyer has been so supportive. And most importantly, I would on this slide I would like to refer that the support system of FreeFlyer is so extremely strong that I sometimes I feel so proud about this friendship and collaboration. What we have is because within 24 hours, any kind of problem, any solution needed, the FreeFlyer team is always ready, and they provide a solution to our customers instantly. That's not the case with every other company in the world. I'm not specifically saying that FreeFlyer is pushing the boundaries, and they are definitely doing that, but I'm promoting them in a very brighter side of it. But it's reality that since 2.5 years of our journey with the FreeFlyer team, every single day has been a valuable one, because the support system is very strong, and that is how we have caught the nerves of our customers here in Korea by this kind of support system, and they have lived it themselves. So that is the value and potential of this relation with AI solution what we have. So let's move forward. let's talk about our partners. Basically, KARI, Korea Aerospace Research Institute, is our government customer for mission control operation. Currently, they are working with us, but they have been part of our business and support system since very beginning, and they are the sole manager controllers of the space activities in Korea, and we are very proud that KARI is also in a very league of international space agencies and have been progressing extremely well. And I find this a really proud moment that KARI has already got FreeFlyer, and then the second one is in implementation mode right now, and we get a lot of support from them. Extremely talented scientists work there, and planning for a future which is very promising for Korean society as well as the Korean space program itself. Nara Space is our another small satellite partner, I would say, and then we design small satellites together. And we have a league of universities. As I mentioned, FreeFlyer is implemented in most of the universities here in Korea, and these are some of the research and education-based CubeSat development universities. These are our current potential near future partners. Hanwha is in the league, and also the Defense Agency of Korea, ADD, is also part of it, and ETRI is also part of it. So we have several different indirect support partners: KAI, Korea Aerospace Industries, K-Water, excuse me, and CETREC, and several other government institutions are also part of our government collaborations and work. So very late, but I would take you through some of the user cases. Most of them are under confidential mode because we are working with the government agencies, and would like to show you the brief detailing about what we are exactly working on. So current user cases in Soletop mostly can be categorized in two parts. One is Earth observation satellite, and next is the communication satellites, because these two are the major portions of our satellite implementation using FreeFlyer. So these all parameters and analysis have been carried out in Soletop and then have been presented to the customers when needed. So these all practices and demos have been made and been demonstrated to the customers when needed. So communication satellites, we have been part of the latency analysis and several others, but these three have been prominent since the time the communication satellite discussions started in Korea to implement FreeFlyer for these satellites. So future use case in Korea would definitely involve mission engineering tool, which is under discussion with the FreeFlyer team in US, and then there is AIS RF simulator. Then we would move towards model-based systems engineering tool, and RF interface analysis tool is also. These tools are an extension of our collaboration into a technical partnership, where we can develop and implement new technological and creative tools for the customer ease of working with FreeFlyer. Flight dynamics operations is one of the most important parts. Again, operation automation and cross verification is one of the most important requirement of customers here in Korea, and we are working seamlessly on aligning those requirements in support with FreeFlyer team in the US. So this is one of the most important user case what we have presently in Korea. It's coverage analysis. A lot of companies in Korea, customers in Korea, would like to have minimum time for a full coverage. So this kind of analysis has been very much in talks in Korea. Considering the area of interest, a lot of different analysis were carried out to minimize the time for full coverage of this peninsula. So as you can see on the right, there has been a lot of different analysis being carried out using concepts of area of interest, and developing algorithms and implementing using FreeFlyer. So this is one of the most important part of the Korean space implementation right now, to minimize the passes and time for full coverage of the satellite imagery. So below is another example of how the coverage of the percentage coverage percentage is being calculated. And on the other side, we have the SAR satellite use case, which is very important on the government side of the Korean FreeFlyer implementation. Our team, under the leadership of Dr. Kim Hong-nae, has been working closely with government agencies and making sure that the SAR-related satellite implementation is also demonstrated properly, and also with proper analysis being carried out. So using all these parameters here, most of the analysis were built using the standard analysis tools and concepts, and it's the ease of implementation is highly commanded in Korean space customer base, because of the Python and simple coding techniques, as shown on the right side of the slide. So this has been a very important part of our program, and we kept making sure that this kind of analysis happen every time with optimization and a better visibility as the prime focus. This is another part of it, the same experiment what is carried out in Soletop, but with a different kind of parameters and an implementation. It was very easy for demonstrating different kind of scenarios to the customers using different initial parameters of the satellite. So this is one of the user cases. And then definitely, as I mentioned, SAR imaging is one of the most important part of the Korean space program. And our team in Soletop has been working seamlessly to make sure that the analysis is carried out and proper results are shown to the customers in a right manner, because it's not only about showing results of optimality or how well the results can be seen visibly, but how easily it can be implemented in real-time situations. So that's where the FreeFlyer comes into picture. Ease of coding, using the structures, coding structures in such a simple manner, and executing them and seeing various forms of execution and scenarios has actually caught the nerve of the customers here in Korea. So this is one of the analysis what I wanted to share. So on the other hand, the ground track shift parameter, this has been one of the use case for one of the customers here. So Soletop team has worked and tried to show. Some of the content is in Korean. I'm sorry, because this is still under confidentiality. I couldn't share much of the details here, but this is for ground track shift analysis, and this has been very successful so far. Finite burn analysis, like any other country now, maneuvering is one of the most important concepts in Korea, and the team here has been studying this concept since a lot of time, and several different concepts were developed, and making sure the 2 maneuver concept of per day is being analyzed, and using different concepts what we have. And FreeFlyer team, as well as the documentation provided by FreeFlyer, FreeFlyer team in AI solution has been dynamic in such a way that it caught a lot of different concepts, and the ease of implementation was also being a very primary node of success using FreeFlyer, I would say. And in most of the cases, the fuel budget calculation has been a big concern or critical scenario, I would say, for most of the major customers. But now it is changing, and the way FreeFlyer makes it easy for analysis of this kind of finite burn with respect to each mission. This has been a very important implementation here in Korea. So ground station contact calculation. Now everybody, as I mentioned, need maximum number of passes per day for a satellite. So there have been very different and unique scenarios discussed with customers. One was ground station contact calculation, eclipse daylight calculation, and star sensor visibility analysis. All were demonstrated by our team here in Soletop and came out with various results to be demonstrated live to the audience and customers here in Korea. You can see different visibility scenarios here. Star sensor FOU field of view analysis is also in talks, because star observation is one of the very primary researchers in Korea in recent times. So these kind of applications have been very much useful using the FreeFlyer. Now, constellation is not new to anybody in global scenario, but in Korea, this is very important, because as I mentioned, the number of passes and optimization of time of the pass for each satellite is very, very important at this time in Korea to shorten the receiving of the information, the data, and the images for disaster management and other applications. So this scenario is for communication satellite constellation analysis for one of our customers, and there is another scenario for another customer with multiple ground stations was discussed recently with one of our customers, and this is a very critical and very important application here in Korea using FreeFlyer, and we are in discussions with a lot of different customers about this and generating business at the same time. So for making the integration tools, as I discussed, we are working with FreeFlyer team to develop different integration tools using FreeFlyer, and this is one of them which our team is working to extend and model the systems engineering, model-based systems engineering for FreeFlyer applications, and putting the exact requirements of the customer in right frame, that a complete database can be restored and delivered at the right time. So these kind of integration tools are being worked out by our experts at Soletop. So as we have very less time remaining, but I would just like to show the energy balance analysis tool here, which was developed recently for a customer here in Korea, and these are the results being generated and quite effective. It's quite easy to put up your coding concept and then code it with Python, and it's very easy to visualize the energy balance needed for a particular customer. So you can see on the right side the framework done by the team here. It's already there in FreeFlyer, but for demonstration purpose, they put out as much information as possible for ease of understanding. Yeah, this is one of them. And formation flying, as I mentioned, that this is one of the user case, I would say, using 2 or 3 satellites. A formation flying is being demonstrated, and this will be part of the government agencies in some time. I cannot reveal much of the information, sorry, but this is one of the primary applications in Korea currently what we have. And AIS transmitter simulator using GNU radio and FreeFlyer. This is another application what we have. It's still under discussion, but the radio link, RF link model for ships is being simulated as shown here. with different ship scenario and satellite scenarios, and plugged into the FreeFlyer, and the modules for each ship can be programmed. And this is under discussion with one of our government agencies. I couldn't discuss much about it because it's under confidential scenario, and much cannot be revealed. But this scenario as well has been demonstrated using FreeFlyer. As you can see beneath, the whole scenario was demonstrated to the customer recently. Future works, definitely, as I mentioned, we are very much dedicated to develop tools in Korea, and a lot of different projects are coming up. We are also, team is involved, excited and enthusiastic about writing research papers using FreeFlyer to be demonstrated to international custom community. And then Soletop is becoming one-stop solution provider for AI solutions in new space age, because this is a huge transformation what we are bringing to table, and this transformation is quite quick and quite faster than estimated. So we are leading. We are proud of the fact that Soletop is leading this transformation. And we are supporting customers of various areas, from design to operation, in different ways. I have some videos, but I think due to lack of time, we may. I leave this links here. You can just type Soletop on YouTube, and you would see various activities what our company is doing at this point, and it's very exciting time, to be honest. Thank you. That is all from my side, and I would take questions.
We have a couple questions. So the first one is kind of a two-parter. So how did you learn, or how did you and your team first learn about FreeFlyer, and what was the biggest factor that influenced your decision to adopt FreeFlyer?
Yes, Mike. First answer could be Googling. So what we were doing is in 2018, the space revolution in Korea started, and a lot of collaboration started in Korea. And that time, Dr. Hongne Kim was searching for some collaborative effort which can replace SDK, because SDK traditionally is known to be one of the sole traditional software which can do wonders for various things, but in reality it's not the case in the practical application of the software. So we wanted something which can replace SDK in Korea, and then give a new face to the mission design and analysis part of astrodynamics. So we were Googling a lot of different softwares. There was one from Europe and one from different parts. There was one from Asia as well. But the moment we started using we got to know FreeFlyer just by Googling, and excuse me, yeah, and that moment we started looking into your website and started demonstration, downloading the softwares and then demonstrating it to our colleagues inside, and we found it very exciting. We found it very exciting in many different ways, and that actually made us contact Mothers, and within few hours, I mean, we contacted 3 or 4 companies, but the way Mothers and your FreeFlyer team has contacted us back, and the communication has been the key for establishing any kind of relation. As you know, Mike, that it takes a lot to establish a relation and faith in each other. So that was the first thing I would say, to establish a relation, and then within a month we had a contract in place. And initially I would thank the FreeFlyer team for having that faith in us initially, because we were not performing for a year. We were having a good database of customers, but we didn't had any customers for first year, and FreeFlyer team kept faith in us and kept moving, and now the results are in front of us. So that's how it started, Mike. Thanks. Mark.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much. The next question is, so you were talking about your MBSE tool, sorry. Does it focus solely on the space domain, or do you do multi-domain with that tool?
Mark, the one I have shown in my slides is specific to satellites at this point. We have some other tools in our other domains, but this one will be very specific to our FreeFlyer customers in Asian region, I would say. We have a lot of different customers in Asian region, and we are working seamlessly to make sure that this tool is implemented not only in Korea, in association with FreeFlyer team, of course, but not only in Korea, but also in Asian region, wherever it is needed. It's very specific to FreeFlyer, and it's for satellite application only. So this is a custom build tool what we are making on campus.
Okay, and so it's currently under development, correct?
Yes.
Are you using the FreeFlyer runtime API underneath, or are you calling FreeFlyer in some other way?
It's under discussion. It's under discussion with Michael is aware of it. I think in next couple of months we will have our white papers ready so that we can propose it to a FreeFlyer team and get it going, because we are in a position to buy the APK SDK, sorry, the application tool from FreeFlyer, and go ahead with the purchase and implementation within this year, probably.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we look forward to seeing the evolution of those tools. That's all the questions we have. I want to thank you again for talking at this expo with us. We do cherish the relationship that we've developed with Soletop, and we look forward to having you speak at a future one.
Definitely, it's my pleasure, Mark. Thank you for the FreeFlyer for giving this opportunity, and many more to come in the future. Thanks a lot.